Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politaris. For more information, visit betrayawealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
You know, this time of the year, as we're kind of bumping up onto flipping the calendar to 2025, I know you've been getting calls from the families you serve saying, all right, let's talk about charity, Qualified Charitable Distributions, QCDs. We hear it all the time. George, talk to me a little bit about what we should be doing this time of the year and how it could benefit our overall retirement plan.
What's so important about this, and especially this time of year, but all year round, is about how we should help people less fortunate than ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're blessed every day that we have food on the table, our families are healthy, whatever the case may be. And there are so many people that don't have that opportunity or luxury. What a QCD, how it's going to work for you is that you can take your required minimum distributions out of those qualified accounts. That's your IRAs, your 401ks. You don't need the money per se, or all of the money. So some of that we can donate to charitable organizations and get the write-off for it. It's really a best way about doing the right thing for someone else and also helping yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Benefiting that. And so many people oversee that because we get so busy in life. But at this time of year, Mark, you know, we have Thanksgiving coming up this weekend. We have the beginning of Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, all these beautiful holidays to celebrate happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can take a little bit of that, just a little bit, and help somebody else too.
That's right.
So when you're looking at that, we can take up to over $100,000 out of those accounts. But that's something that you come in the office, you're going to meet with myself, my whole team here at Betraya Wealth, and Ernie Calais, who we have a strategic business partnership with, who's our CPA in-house, to maximize that part of it, plus your whole tax plan. We talk about taxes every week, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I can never reiterate enough how important it is to have a tax plan, folks. It's your money. Think about that for just a second. It's your money. It's your choices, your decisions. Let's keep as much of our money in our pocket that is legally and morally acceptable. Let's be realistic. We don't want to break the law here. But let's maximize it. And that starts with having a plan to go in place. When you give me a call at 302-330-2166, we're going to go over those options. We're going to talk about where we're going to pull the money from, which bucket of income do we pull the money from, and how to set it up correctly for you. So give us a call, 302-330-2166, and let's start that process. Get this season in the gear. Let's not just care about, you know, Christmas. How much turkey are you going to eat, Mark?
A lot.
How much, you know, pumpkin pie can you consume?
Even more.
How about doing something for tomorrow so we can plan and be in a better place?
That's right. Those QCDs, great opportunity to benefit those in need, but also a bit of a tax strategy for you as well. 302-330-2166. And George, I know you and the team at the Betraya Wealth Group, you personally work with some local charities. Who touches your heart? Who do you believe in? How do you donate your time and your gifts?
Leslie and I always talk about how blessed we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been poor. We've been in bad positions in time in life as a young couple. And now we're not in that position. So we do help. We do share charity. We don't talk only because I think it comes from within what you do. A couple charities that we really love is Mastiff and Mutts, which is a dog rescue for mastiffs, i.e. with our 3 babies
Nice.
At home. The Food Bank of Delaware we like to contribute to. And, of course, we love Tunnels to Towers. And besides our prayers, we send our money, and hopefully we're helping people that can use it and get in a better place. And that's one of the things I think about when we work here. When you come in the office, if you have a charity that you're close to, let's see how we can work together to help them out a little bit too. Let's see what we can do, where we can help them and get them a better place.
Yeah.
Try and lighten someone else's day to be in a better place and say thank you for just being you.
Charitable this time of the year, and the team at the Betraya Wealth Group want to work with you directly with your personal favorite charity to make sure that they maybe have what they need this holiday season as well. 302-330-2166. Again, 302-330-2166. So as we're talking about end of the year strategies, talking about your qualified charitable distributions, we'll talk about RMD, the required minimum distributions coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But George, we're almost to the end of open enrollment. And I know that for you and specifically for Angie Politaris, one of the great team members at the Betraya Wealth Group, man, this is her world. Like, this is her sweet spot. How is she doing, by the way? She's like, it's almost like a CPA in April. This is like her tax season right now.
Great analogy. Fantastic analogy, Mark. You're absolutely right. And Angie is handling the Medicare, the supplements, the Medicare Advantage, all these questions. And that's year-round, just like taxes are year-round.
Mm-hmm.
But we have that window to close in a couple of weeks. So, folks, if you're still on the outside looking in, what's the right option for me? Do I go Medicare Advantage? Do I go a supplement plan? Which plan do I go with? It's confusing. It really is. We all handle it here in the office at Betrayal Wealth, but the one that handles it every day, 365 days a year, is Angie. Give us a call at 302-330-2166. Let's schedule that appointment, if for nothing else, to get rid of the confusion, get rid of the fog about this. Because we always say here at Betrayal that we help take the gray out of retirement and make it very black and white. Let us help take the gray out of this Medicare questions and make it black and white. The law is changing in 2025 for this. Angie can answer those questions, guide you, direct you, and show you the best way to maximize your benefits.
So it was a couple of weeks ago, we had Angie on the show here, Family First Retirement, to answer some of those questions about open enrollment, Medicare, Medicaid, about specifically what she's doing for the families you serve and for the community as well. I want you to hear a couple of minutes from this conversation because we're bumping up to the end of open enrollment. So here's Angie Politaris from the Betrayal Wealth Group, and we ask her basically, what is the difference between Medicare and Medicaid?
Medicare is based on age. Medicaid is based on income. That's basically the two differences. Medicare, you have to meet a certain criteria to be able to start Medicare, and that is, number one is you have to be a permanent resident of the United States or an American citizen. If you live in the United States, if you're a resident, you have to be in the United States for a minimum of 5 years, or you have to be 65 years of age to apply for Medicare, or you have to be under the age of 65 collecting Social Security disability and have received Social Security disability income for a minimum of 24 months. Or you have to have stage renal disease and apply for Medicare. That's the criteria for Medicare.
That's Medicare.
So Medicare. Medicaid is based on income. So it's basically for lower income people, and that we would apply for Medicaid for you. But Medicare is for the majority of Americans that are aging into 65.
That is so confusing. Mm-hmm. I just heard Angie say, you have to be this, or you have to be this, or you have to be that. All these different things. And I do this every day. That's why I always go to Angie for this. It's confusing, Mark.
Yeah.
It takes you off guard. And this is not just open enrollment, right, Angie?
No, this is all year round.
All year round.
Continuously all year round, right? Because people, when they turn 65 or they prepare, you have 7 months to sign up for Medicare if you're not working. I mean, if you're working, there's different rules. So there's so many different rules out there that you really need to sit down with somebody like in our office and just go over everything and see where you're at. Sometimes you're not ready to, you're working and you shouldn't sign up for Medicare, or you should wait. There's all different rules that apply to Medicare and Medicaid.
So when you sign up for Medicare, there's two parts of Medicare, right? A and B.
Correct.
A, if I understand correctly, is 3 months before your 65th birthday, you sign up for Part A, whether you're working or not.
Yes, but if you're working and you have health savings plan and you sign up for Medicare Part A, you're not permitted to contribute to that anymore. So that's a rule that you want to look at if you're in the health savings plan, because you would not be able to do that any longer. So normally, majority of people don't have the the health savings plan. So you should sign up for Medicare Part A, because as long as you work the 40 quarters, which is 10 years, you get that for free, folks. So while you're working and you have credible coverage through your employer, sign up for it. Unless, again, if you have the health care, the health savings plan. And then while you're still employed, do not sign up for Medicare Part B, because right now the cost is $174.70. Why pay for it when you have credible coverage and you're still working? You should wait till you retire. Or some people look at it and say, you know what, my coverage from work is not good. Let's sit down and compare them, and we'll sit down, we'll look over everything, and you make an educated decision. You may say, I want to stop my coverage through work and sign up for Medicare Part A and Part B and get the additional coverages that I need.
Angie, how often do you have somebody come in, sit down with you, you start going over the options, and they realize, wow, I've been doing this completely wrong from the beginning. I just needed a second set of eyes. How often does that happen?
About every day.
Yeah.
I don't want to be smart.
She's right.
I don't want to be smart, folks, but it's like every day because it is very overwhelming. There's so many different rules. There's so many little tricks. So that's one thing that we do with our clients when they come in as part of what we do to prepare for retirement and look at their package. We include that all in there for them. So we look at all the options. Sometimes it's the best option to stay with what you have. Sometimes it's the best option to move. So we look at and we compare them side by side. We look at the costs, the cost factors, what everything costs, what the benefits are, and then you can make an educated decision of which way you want to go.
It sounds to me like this is not a DIY where they go on YouTube and Google it and say, oh, this is the plan to go, right?
Absolutely not. Heading into retirement, the medical part of your life, which is the end of our life, folks. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but it is.
Reality.
The average adult, the woman, spends about $250,000 in medical expenses into retirement, where the man spends about $235,000. Why does a man spend less? Because he dies sooner than the woman. So we will spend that amount of money. So it's so important when we look at it. We look at your financial situation. We look at where you're at and where you're heading, and then we give you. There's so many choices to make and decisions to make for you to assist you, so that we can alleviate some of these expenses heading into, the later years of your life by making the right decision when you're retiring.
Talking to Angie Paultaris, one of the great team members of the Portray Wealth Group. And when did you realize this is going to be my sweet spot when I'm customizing and helping build plans? Why you? Why this path?
Well, really, because the guys didn't want to do it.
That's nail on the head.
To be honest with you. And you know what? I had a sick husband for a lot of years, folks. And, I really got into it because I was looking for what was the best for us as a couple, what worked for us. So I really got into it to find out the wheres and the whys. And, I got educated in that respect because of the cost factors. And there's really a difference because there's Medicare Part A and Part B. Then there's Medicare Part C. What is Part C? That's making the determination if you want a Medicare Advantage plan or you want a supplemental plan. And then there's the Part D, which is the drug plan. The Part D, the drug plan comes in the Medicare Advantage plan. It's usually in a package within the Medicare Advantage plan. In the supplemental plans, it's something separate that you have to buy. So a lot of people will just say to you, I'm going to sell you a supplemental plan. They don't even bother selling you a drug plan. And they don't tell you that if you don't have a drug plan with a supplemental plan, there is a penalty. There's penalties. The government will charge you penalties if you don't sign up in a certain time frame, if you don't have a drug plan. Now, you could go 10 years. We had somebody a couple months ago come in. They didn't have a drug plan. They had a supplemental plan, and he wanted, oh, my God, now I realize that my drugs are expensive. Well, he had $166 a month penalty against him each month because he didn't have a drug plan. And then the drug plan was $12 a month. So there's so many different rules out there that you really, we want to look at everything. So when you come into our office, we look at the whole package. We look at your drugs. We write them down. We see, I can tell you how much your drugs are going to cost you, in the plan that you pick, and what your out-of-pocket expenses are going to be if you were to get a supplemental plan. Or if in the Medicare Advantage plan, the same thing, exactly it's going to cost you.
These are things you have to be aware of. And we don't want to talk fear because we're here to make sure we understand it's educational, informative. That way you can take the next step to making the right choice for you and your family. But you need the right information. This is not go onto YouTube or Google and see what the answer is because you're not the Joneses. We always talk about that.
Right.
And that's what Angie does so well. She makes sure that the plan fits you. Not your brother, not your sister, not your next door neighbor, not the guy down the street who you don't like. Make sure you get the plan that fits your wants, needs, and desires, and more importantly, your budget. So call us at 302-330-2166, and let's schedule your no-cost, no-obligation meeting to get these questions answered along with the proper planning process. What to do, where you're going to go, how are we going to live in retirement, and most importantly, are we going to have the retirement we want so badly? And quite honestly, you deserve it. Yeah. But it starts with you calling us, 302-330-2166, or go to Patria, Patria Wealth.com.
Angie, what should adults nearing retirement, what should they be doing right now?
You should be writing down all the questions that you have. You should be preparing, write down and all your drugs, what the dosages are, and then, give us a call. I'm not saying, we are different than everybody else out there because we look at the whole package for our clients. So, whatever works best for the client is what we're going to do. We'll give your suggestions and, put it out there for you. Tell you what the rules are, what the regulations are, what the penalties are, and then you can make the decision of what you want to do. Sometimes people don't have a choice. They have to go with a certain plan, and that it has to work for them. But most of the time, the customer has a choice of which way they want to go. So we're here to help them get to that point.
Great conversation with Angie Politaris, one of the great team members at the Petrea Wealth Group.
That was intriguing, all the information she gave us. It really is. And that's just the tip of the nail, folks. I'll be honest, we are busy. Thank God, right? But giving us a call, 302-330-2166. I'll make sure you get in before this and take care of it. Angie will make it work for you because Petrea in Greek means family.
Yes, sir.
And you do things above and beyond for family because you need the help, and we're here to help you. So give us a call, 302-330-2166, and let's get you in that. We only have a short amount of time left. Let's take advantage of what we have.
Of course, you can always get more. You can meet the team when you visit PetreaWealth.com, P-A-T-R-I-A Wealth.com. You Politaris and your stupid work ethic, working nights, weekends, holidays, just to help out the community. I tell you what, man, little Archer, he's got no chance. That man's going to be working 80 hours a week before he can drive. Hey, let's talk a little about pensions because a lot of changes for our federal employees as well. If you talk to people that maybe has a pension, good for them, but it gets bought out. This recently happened in Michigan and Wisconsin. They're now investing in Bitcoin for pension programs. So when you do a deep dive into somebody's pension strategy, are you finding that maybe taking that lump sum and allocating that money somewhere, could that be the smart play? Or what kind of strategies are you seeing now that are working, George?
We always talk about, Mark, how you have to be educated about information. You need to have the information, know about it, so you can make an educated decision about your family's choices. And your pension's about your family's choices. When I see, and I'll be quite honest with you, when it comes to the Bitcoin, I'm still a little balled up about it. I don't really understand it completely. I'm not comfortable enough with it. Mm-hmm. So seeing two states start funding their pensions with Bitcoin kind of gets me a little nervous.
Well, he's got agita. Your agita kicks in.
Agita. I didn't want to say it. You get all balled up when I say it. Yeah, you get that agita. You get all, folks here know what that is. And you live in Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland. You understand what agita is. You get that, stomach pain.
Something doesn't feel right.
It's just like the bubbling.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think in a couple of years, I think you're going to see Bitcoin be much more accepted for this. But as of today, I'm not trusting it.
Right.
So when we look at people and we talk about your pensions, you have to sit with someone that's outside your network who understands how your system works and look at the options available. And a prime example about this is teachers. Teachers have a great pension system. Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, you have a great pension. You worked really hard for it. But I'll give you an example. I have a customer that's up in Chester County, which is right across the PA border from us. I work with her and her husband, and she is retiring in June. 39 years as a teacher, school district. Now, if she takes her pension, folks, as what they tell her to take, which is what they want you to take, she will get, it's $8,950 a month for the rest of her life. Pretty good gig.
Yeah.
It really is. But you have a lump sum distribution amount out of that. So if she takes the lump sum, which is $430,000 in her case, she still receives a pension, Mark. Did you know that? Mm-mm. Her pension's going to be $5,800. Plus, we have this $400,000 plus dollars that we can invest and have a bigger growth because she doesn't need that much money for retirement right now. It's about making the plan works for you, how it goes for you. Just because the employer, whether it is the federal government, whether it is the school district, whether it is Boeing, who we just have down the road here in Delaware County with a huge termination of about 10% of their workforce, just because they're telling you this is what's right and this is what most people do, you're not most people, Mark. Mm-hmm. I'm not most people. It's about having a plan that fits your needs, what your family structure looks like. And with our customer up here in Chester County, that is what we're doing. We're having this fit her need. We're generating more income possibility for her if she needs it with less risk and more control. I kind of like control personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you,
Yeah.
but I like control. And that's what we're working with. The folks at Boeing right now with that 10% layoff, our plant here in Ridley Park, Pennsylvania is going to have a big shut part losing these people.
Yeah.
You need to talk to us. Give us a call at 302-330-2166. Let's see what the options are for you. Let's see what's right for you and your spouse, your family. I'm going to keep more control of your money for your needs. What if, God forbid, something happens and my son or daughter need money, or my wife or husband gets sick? I want accessibility to my funds. We know when we turn on those pensions, Mark, we lose control.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to send you that check for X for the rest of your life, hopefully, right? If they don't go belly up.
Yep.
But let's take control. Let's take it back in our pocket where we can do what we want, when we want, and how we want. Now, I'll be honest with you, we do a tremendous amount of work with federal employees.
Mm-hmm.
Federal employees, if someone tells you to take your pension and walk away and do it, don't do it.
Okay.
Please. That's a misjustice. You're going to have a problem. Their pension system's really well. It's funded a certain way that I can't take the cash value because there's really no cash value there.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee that lifetime payment. So that's why it's so important. I always go back to being educated, being informed, being enlightened about the options. And when you work with myself and my team here at Betrayal Wealth, that's what we do every day. If you have a question about your Boeing pension, you need to give us a call. If you're a teacher wondering about my SERS, how's that pension going to work? When can I retire? What's it going to cost me? You need to give us a call. If you're a federal employee, you don't pick up the phone and call someone that works with you every day, you're making a mistake. You need to give us a call. That number is 302-330-2166. When you come here, you say there are $200,000 plus, Mark, we're going to help you go over the finish line. The finish line is retirement. It's the next 20 years. It's legacy planning. It's tax advice, how we're going to manage those funds to minimize the obligation you have to pay to the government while maximizing what you have in your hands and your accounts. That's what an expert does. That's just someone who works with it every day. And I always say, Mark, it's not a DIY. Don't go on there and YouTube it because obviously it's always true.
Right.
But in this one case, when you YouTube Betrayal Wealth, take a look at our website, our YouTube channel. You're going to be really happy with what you see.
Yeah.
But we're here to help you educate and inform. 302-330-2166 for that no cost, no obligation meeting.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politaris, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.